episode number 221. Are these comics going to get good film and television shows? We have Batman and Robin number 19, and we have Conan number 18. Let's check them out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I am an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to jump into these comics here. Remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. And yeah, if you can ring that bell, ding ding, that would be amazing. And sharing it out there also helps. I'm also, as I mentioned, a writer, so if you want to check out any of my books, they are on Amazon. You go to Frank Zanca, just type that into Amazon. You'll see all my stuff, including Destiny Aurora, my 4-novel series that was made into a board game as well as an RPG. It's also, the first novel is also on Audible, and on top of that, the first novel was also made into a graphic novel, fully adapted. But anyway, you can check that out as well. Also, my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch, is up there, as well as my Holocaust biography called Escape from Berlin. And The Awakening is a horror book. It's a ghost story, kind of like The Sixth Sense. All right. Also, I'm working on a new book, and I'm working on a new comic, which I'm going to be announcing shortly on, I guess, well, it's going to be a few months because they're still working on art for Fairy Tales of Terror. All right, so everybody, let's jump right into Batman and Robin number 19. So in my last episode, I had 2 books that I did not like. So interesting enough, these are 2 books that I did. So I guess it's a give or take. So this is a continuation, although I think that this storyline is going on a little bit too long. I'm ready for it to get wrapped up here. It should be wrapped up in the next issue, which is issue 20. If it keeps going after that, they're just, dragging this dead horse around. But this is the story of Memento. Batman, when he was first getting trained in his early 20s or a teenager, he went to London to learn from an actual detective who was then arrested as the serial killer Memento, and he had a whole group with him. He wasn't being taught one-on-one. So he had a group, and one of the girls also became a detective later on, and now she's part of this case, and she is interacting with Damian, not Batman for the most part. But Batman got afflicted with this kind of a gas, and he's starting to still hallucinate even now. But I guess this is the guy back in London. I don't know. I think this is the original teacher. I don't know. I don't know really who that is. Our time together is almost through. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't understand that beginning. But then we got this 2-page spread of them going towards their destination, and you can see that everything that's red is Batman's hallucinations. And Robin even says, "Are you okay? Who are you talking to? Are you seeing things?" Because he's also hearing things. He actually tells them to shut up. And then we have a second 2-page spread where they run into some muggers or whatever else, and Batman beats the crap out of them. But then he gets a call from Oracle. I thought Batgirl was back. I guess she moonlights back and forth as Oracle. I don't know how that works. But he says, "Let's speak alone," and he tells Robin to just go back to the, back to the mansion. And he's like, "No, I got to go anyway." But they're talking about his time at the hospital. So Damian is volunteering at the hospital because Batman gave him Batman's father's, Thomas Wayne, his journal. And he's like, you know what? I might want to save people in a different way, which is very interesting for Damian, who really never had any focus besides killing people and being a dick. So it's he's actually still a little bit of a dick, but he's less of a dick in this one. I can almost miss that haughtiness to the character, but it's interesting to give him a little bit of a rounded thing where he is now really kind of hooked up with this Dr. Bashar. Dr. Bashir was from what? Deep Space Nine. But anyway, so Batman doesn't trust them, so trust the Doctor, so he has Oracle looking at it, which is why he wanted Damian away. Normally, Damian would be like, "Screw you, man. I'm gonna go off and do my own shit." But in this case, he says okay to Batman. Yeah, I'll go off and do whatever, just to get out of your hair. But that's not normally Damian. He would normally put up a fight, but he didn't in this case. And I was wondering why, if it was the writer kind of screwing things up. But there is a reason, because he ends up contacting the other detective from England, Scotland Yard, I think. But so he's got his own thing going on anyway, and getting away from Batman was kind of what he wanted to do anyway. So the fact that Batman says, "Yeah, go off and do your own thing," he's like, "Okay, great." So that makes way more sense. But anyway, they go to see Scarecrow, and she was wounded in the last issue. But I guess the Red Hood, I guess this is like the next day or whatever else, because he was with Red Hood in the last one. But anyway, when Bruce gets back, Damian is there doing homework or whatever else, and he's like, "Yeah, let's just have a day for ourselves, and let's go out to eat, and we'll just have whatever, and then we'll just work it off." And he's like, "Yeah, that will be great." So that he does finally, say, "Hey," he throws Bruce a bone and said, "Yeah, let's do that." But Bruce has a motive for that, where he puts a tracker on him. He puts like a bug on his shoe so he can listen in. What a dick. But anyway, Damian doesn't realize it till later. So Batman is listening in right there. And there's Damian and Bashar. It's an AR, so I don't know if it's actually Bashar, but that's what I was saying. So they're talking, etc. And then Damian figures it out. And basically is talking to Batman, but Bashar doesn't realize that he's talking to somebody else. So this scene is actually pretty good. I like it. It's definitely different. You don't really ever get to see like a conflict like that, where it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek conflict. But I like it. And Damian is looking to quit, so that's interesting too, because we've never seen a Robin that's just basically looking to quit. And of course, we have Batman Hush 2 coming out, which I really have to tell. And then Bashar gets killed by Memento there, which I'm still confused about this character, because he comes in different sizes and everything like that. And Robin got a girl at one of the parties there. He got her hurt, and he was rude to her, and he still got, which is why he went to the hospital, why he started doing it at the hospital, because she was there recovering. And he wanted to make sure she recovered, because he was totally feeling guilty. Meanwhile, Batman's like, "Don't approach him alone. I'm on my way." Meanwhile, he's still having his hallucinations. I like this, where it pops him out of the Batmobile, and then he grapple hooks up. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that a lot. And then he grapples hooks from one side, one building to the next. He jumps through the window, and I'm not sure what happens at the end there, but it's almost like Damian is gone. And then it says to be continued. Yep, and now we have your son as well. Yeah, so he's kidnapped. I wouldn't want to kidnap Damian. But yeah, good stuff. This has been good. It's just a little slow in the beginning, but overall, this has been a really good run and storyline. I'm waiting for it at the end, though. It's because it's starting to drag now, so you're going to have to get that. He's got to get it moving now. All right, so let's jump into Conan the Barbarian. So this is like it's probably 2 months late because 19 is out now. or 19's coming out. So this is over a month late. But with Diamond, all this stuff is just coming out late. I like the fact that they're coming out with a Solomon Kane book. I'm going to have to try that. Although I'm going to have to try to cut back on the amount of books I'm buying. But anyway, so this was, I really don't understand how the last story ended, but then they jumped into a new story, and I can tell you that 19 has nothing to do with 18. So this is a different storyline, and it just doesn't end really well either. But anyway, Belit, and this is a backstory, because Belit, I guess, is dead or whatever else in the newer stories. So it goes back in time to her being alive and being, the pirate queen, and Conan is like her lover slash first mate, and they end up just like having shore leave, and they get targeted by thieves who they kick their asses, and they leave one alive because she's going to show them this very special, priceless artifact, and they're going to steal it. Conan's against it the whole time, but Belit's like, yeah, let's just go do it. So they're making up a plan about how to steal this thing, and the artwork is not nearly as good as it was. But we have Medusa in there, and then we actually get into the story where they're making the plan. And again, Conan's still against it. But they decide to work together, and again, they're having lunch and making the plan continuously. It's all a bunch of dialogue. So they decide that the girl Tanarsha and Conan are going to go in and steal the thing, and Belit is going to be the distraction. Okay? So meanwhile, very conveniently, they have the sale for the artifact is going down at that exact moment. Unbeknownst to them, they just happened to go at exactly the right time. So the buyers come in, and the guy that was supposed to be selling it, which is this dagger here, says, no, I didn't agree to sell it. I agreed to show it to you, and then you make me an offer. And then I'll consider it, because I really don't want to sell it, so basically the price has to be through the moon for me to want to do this. So anyway, they get, he says, no, you're going to sell it because I'm going to kill you. Well, I'm going to kill you with it. So it's kind of like buying a gun and shooting the store owner. So Conan comes down along with Tarnasha, and they start fighting all of the guardsmen. So we got this battle taking place, but the head guy who's holding the dagger ends up turning into a half snake man. I am Cobra! No. But anyway, he ends up stabbing Conan. So I assume this is probably where this is going to go for 19. Although I've already read that one, and I can tell you there's nothing about this knife in 19 at this point. But there is a shapeshifter in there. So as he's about to kill Conan, Belit comes in and throws a knife into the back of the guy's head, and he's done. But Conan is bleeding out, and Belit is trying to save him. But meanwhile, Tarnasha uses the opportunity to grab the knife and go. So Conan is still fighting, even though he's got a very bad wound to the stomach. They end up stealing... No, they buy robes, and they wrap him up as much as possible to get back to the ship. So meanwhile, Belit is taking this very personally, and she tells the crew, let's go after the bitch that took our shit. And Conan's like, no, we're not going to do that. You're just acting irrationally. Let it go. We didn't lose anything besides a few gold coins that they paid some people, and that's it. And she goes, oh, how dare you counter my commands? But then she says, you're right, and you're going to pay for this later in the bedroom. And he said, that's a price I'm willing to pay. And when we get this last page, I don't understand. I don't understand what that is. I don't understand who these people are or anything. Maybe this is what they were trying to. This was the thing they were trying to buy for this group, because there's a whole bunch of snakes in here. But I have no understand what's glowing there or anything, because Tarnasha had the artifact. So what is glowing there? I don't understand it. But that's the end of the book, and apparently we're getting. That's my only problem with Jim Zub is when he finishes up a story. I'm confused about how it ends. I don't. Is it ending? I don't know. Or are we gonna continue this later? I don't know. But will it make a good film or television show? Not this particular storyline, because there's nothing to this storyline. It's a 2-issue in and out thing. But I like Belit. I like Conan. I like the whole thief thing. I like the fact that she is, queen of the pirates. All that stuff works. So if you create a movie around that, we need a new Conan movie. We really do. And it needs to be helmed by somebody that knows and appreciates Conan, where then they're not trying to change him and demasculate him and stuff like that. And then you have Batman and Robin. I like this whole Memento thing. I just don't know. I just don't understand the villain, right? I just don't understand it. But everything else is really interesting, where it connects to his past. And, he was in London being trained, and Robin wants to leave. All that stuff really works. It's not placed correctly, but if anybody adapts it into a screenplay, I think that it could work. But I just don't understand the villain yet. So once I understand the villain, then I'll be able to make a more knowledgeable guess. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to give me a like and give me a subscribe if you can. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Hey, it's free. Why not get notified? And watch me continuously. What's this beautiful face, right? And then on top of that, remember to go to Amazon.com and type my name in if you'd like to read anything that I've written. Destiny Aurora, Tales of Ravenor, Lords of L.A., just a pile of stuff in there. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys on the next episode, and have an awesome week.